Do you want to successfully complete the CompTIA Network Plus exam? Then you are in the right place. Welcome to MyITCerts.com, where thousands of students have found their path to exam success. Our website provides completely free access to over 300 practice questions with detailed explanations and comprehensive study guides covering every exam objective. Everything you need for success on your first attempt for free. In this video, we will cover questions from networking fundamentals, network implementations, network operations, network security, and network troubleshooting. So, let's get started. 1. A small business has two offices connected by a single, reliable leased line. The network administrator wants to set up routing between the offices with minimal configuration overhead, and no need for the routers to exchange complex routing updates, as the paths will never change. Which routing type is most appropriate for this scenario? A. OSPF, B. BGP, C. Static routing, D. EIGRP. What do you think is the answer? Correct answer, C. Static routing. Explanation. Option C is correct because static routing is ideal for simple, stable networks where routes do not change. The administrator manually configures the path, which is perfect for this scenario with a single, reliable connection, minimizing configuration and processing overhead. Option A, OSPF, is incorrect because OSPF, Open Shortest Path First, is a dynamic routing protocol designed for larger, complex networks where routes might change. It would be unnecessary overhead for this simple setup. Option B, BGP, is incorrect because BGP, Border Gateway Protocol, is an exterior gateway protocol used for routing between different autonomous systems on the Internet, making it far too complex for this internal network connection. Option D, EIGRP, is incorrect because EIGRP, Enhanced Interior Gateway Routing Protocol, is another dynamic routing protocol. While less complex than BGP, it is still more than what is needed for a simple point-to-point static path. 2. A network engineer is configuring routers in a large enterprise. The network uses multiple dynamic routing protocols. When a router learns about the same destination network from two different routing protocols, for example, EIGRP and OSPF, how does the router decide which protocol's route to prefer and install in the routing table? A. By choosing the route with the longest prefix length. B. By comparing the metric values calculated by each protocol. C. By selecting the route from the protocol with the lower administrative distance, AD. D. By using the route learned from the BGP protocol, as it's always preferred. What do you think is the answer? Correct answer, C. By selecting the route from the protocol with the lower administrative distance, AD. Explanation. Option C is correct because administrative distance, AD, is a value, 255, that routers use to rank the trustworthiness of different routing protocols. If a router learns about the same destination from multiple sources, it will prefer the route from the protocol with the lower AD value. Option A, by choosing the route with the longest prefix length, is incorrect because the longest prefix length rule is used to select the most specific route among several routes for a destination, but only after the source protocol has been chosen via AD. Option B, by comparing the metric values calculated by each protocol, is incorrect because metrics are used by a single routing protocol to determine its own best path. Metrics from different protocols, like OSPF's cost and EIGRP's composite metric, are not comparable. Option D, by using the route learned from the BGP protocol, as it's always preferred, is incorrect because BGP has its own AD value and is not automatically preferred unless its AD is the lowest among the options for a specific route. 3. Your company's network connects to two different Internet Service Providers, ISPs, for redundancy and load balancing. You need a routing protocol that can exchange routing information with these external ISP networks, manage your company's publicly routable IP address space, and make intelligent path selection decisions based on ISP policies. Which routing protocol is specifically designed for this purpose? A. OSPF, Open Shortest Path First. B. EIGRP, Enhanced Interior Gateway Routing Protocol. C. RIP, Routing Information Protocol. D. BGP, Border Gateway Protocol. Do you know the answer? Correct answer, D. BGP, Border Gateway Protocol. Explanation. Option D is correct because Border Gateway Protocol, BGP, is the standard Exterior Gateway Protocol, EGP, for the Internet. It is designed to exchange routing information between autonomous systems, AS, such as a company and its ISPs, and supports policy-based routing essential for multi-homing. Option A, OSPF, Open Shortest Path First, is incorrect because OSPF is an Interior Gateway Protocol, IGP, used for routing within a single autonomous system, not for connecting to external ISPs. Option B, EIGRP, Enhanced Interior Gateway Routing Protocol, is incorrect because EIGRP is also an IGP, primarily used for routing within a company's internal network. Option C, RIP, Routing Information Protocol, is incorrect because RIP is an older, limited IGP, unsuitable for large-scale, policy-driven Internet routing. 4. A router in your network has learned two routes to the destination network. 10.0.0. Route 1, 10.10.0016 via OSPF, metric 100. Route 2, 10.10.024 via OSPF, metric 50. Assuming administrative distance is the same, as both are OSPF, which route will the router install in its routing table, and why? A. Route 1, because it has a larger address space, 16. B. Route 2, because it has a lower metric, 50. C. Route 2, because it has a longer prefix length, 24. D. Both routes will be installed for load balancing. Do you know the answer? Correct. Answer C. Route 2, because it has a longer prefix length, 24. Explanation. Option C is correct because when a router compares multiple routes to overlapping destinations, the primary rule is to prefer the route with the longest, most specific prefix length. A 24 prefix is more specific than a 16 prefix, so it is chosen regardless of the metric. Option A, Route 1, because it has a larger address space, 16, is incorrect because routers prioritize specificity, longer prefix, not the size of the address space. Option B, Route 2, because it has a lower metric, 50, is incorrect because the metric is only considered after the prefix length. If both routes had the same prefix length, the lower metric would then be used as the tiebreaker. Option D, both routes will be installed for load balancing, is incorrect because these are not equal cost paths to the exact same destination prefix, so load balancing would not apply here. The router installs only the single best route. 5. A small office uses a single public IP address provided by their ISP. They have multiple computers on their internal private network, e.g., 192.168.1.0.24, that all need to access the Internet simultaneously. The office router handles this by translating the private IP addresses of the internal computers to the single public IP address, using different port numbers to keep track of individual sessions. What is this specific type of address translation called? A. Static NAT. B. Port forwarding. C. Dynamic NAT. D. Port address translation, PAT. Can you guess the answer? Correct answer, D. Port Address Translation, PAT. Explanation. Option D is correct because Port Address Translation, PAT, also known as NAT overload, allows multiple devices on a private network to share a single public IP address. It achieves this by mapping each internal private IP and port to the single public IP and a unique source port, enabling the router to track many sessions simultaneously. Option A, static NAT, is incorrect because it maps one private IP address to one public IP address on a one-to-one basis. Option B, port forwarding, is incorrect because it is used for incoming connections, mapping a port on the public IP to a specific internal device, rather than enabling many users to go out. Option C, dynamic NAT, is incorrect because it maps private IPs to a pool of public IPs, typically one-to-one, and would require more than one public IP to service multiple users at once. 6. To provide high availability for the default gateway in a LAN segment, a network administrator configures two routers to share a virtual IP address and a virtual MAC address. If the primary router fails, the secondary router seamlessly takes over, using the same virtual IP address, ensuring client devices don't lose their gateway. Which type of protocol is being implemented here? A. Spanning Tree Protocol, STP. B. Virtual Private Network, VPN. C. First Hop Redundancy Protocol, FHRP. D. Border Gateway Protocol, BGP. Do you know the answer? Correct answer, C. First Hop Redundancy Protocol, FHRP. Explanation. Option C is correct because First Hop Redundancy Protocols, FHRPs, such as HSRP, VRRP, and GLBP, are designed to provide default gateway redundancy. They use a shared virtual IP and MAC address to allow a standby router to take over instantly if the primary router fails. Option A, Spanning Tree Protocol, STP, is incorrect because STP is a Layer 2 protocol that prevents loops in switched networks, not provide gateway redundancy. Option B, Virtual Private Network, VPN, is incorrect because a VPN is used to create secure, encrypted tunnels over untrusted networks. Option D, Border Gateway Protocol, BGP, is incorrect because BGP is an exterior routing protocol used for routing between autonomous systems on the Internet. 7. A network engineer needs to logically segment a single physical router interface into multiple virtual interfaces. Each virtual interface will be assigned to a different VLAN and have its own IP address, effectively acting as the default gateway for that VLAN. This allows the router to route traffic between these different VLANs using only one physical connection to the switch. What is this configuration technique called? A. Link aggregation. B. Sub-interfaces. C. Port mirroring. D. VLAN trunking. What do you think is the answer? Correct answer, B. Sub-interfaces. Explanation. Option B is correct because sub-interfaces are logical divisions of a physical router interface. Each sub-interface can be configured with its own IP address and assigned to a specific VLAN, allowing a single physical link to route traffic between multiple VLANs in a configuration known as router on a stick. Option A, link aggregation, is incorrect because it combines multiple physical links into a single logical link to increase bandwidth and redundancy. Option C, port mirroring, is incorrect because it copies traffic from one port to another for monitoring purposes. Option D, VLAN trunking, is incorrect because trunking is the feature on the switch port that carries the multi-VLAN traffic to the router. The sub-interfaces are the corresponding configuration on the router itself. 8. An office has 3 departments: sales, marketing, and engineering. The network administrator wants to isolate the network traffic of each department for security and broadcast containment, even though all users connect to the same physical switches. Each department should be in its own logical broadcast domain. Which switching technology should be implemented to achieve this? A. Spanning Tree Protocol, STP. B. Virtual Local Area Networks, VLANs. C. Link Aggregation, LAG. D. Port Security. Do you know the answer? Correct answer. B. Virtual Local Area Networks, VLANs. Explanation. Option B is correct because virtual local area networks, VLANs, are used to logically segment a physical network into multiple separate broadcast domains. This isolates traffic between departments for security and performance reasons, requiring a Layer 3 device for inter-VLAN communication. Option A, Spanning Tree Protocol, STP, is incorrect because STP is used to prevent Layer 2 loops in networks with redundant switch paths. Option C, Link Aggregation, LAG, is incorrect because a lag is used to bundle multiple physical links together for increased bandwidth and redundancy. Option D, Port Security, is incorrect because it is a feature that restricts which MAC addresses can connect to a specific switch port, but does not create separate broadcast domains. 9. A network administrator has configured several VLANs on a switch. To allow devices in these different VLANs to communicate with each other, the administrator needs to configure a Layer 3 interface on the switch for each VLAN. This Layer 3 interface will have an IP address and act as the default gateway for devices in its respective VLAN. What is this type of virtual Layer 3 interface on a switch called? A. Trunk port. B. Access port. C. Switch virtual interface, SVI. D. Native VLAN interface. Can you guess the answer? Correct. Answer C. Switch virtual interface, SVI. Explanation. Option C is correct because a switch virtual interface, SVI, is a logical Layer 3 interface created on a multi-layer switch that is associated with a specific VLAN. By assigning an IP address to the SVI, the switch can perform routing functions between different VLANs. Option A. Trunk port is incorrect because a trunk port is a Layer 2 interface designed to carry traffic for multiple VLANs between network devices. Option B. Access port is incorrect because an access port is a Layer 2 interface that belongs to and carries traffic for only a single VLAN. Option D, Native VLAN interface, is incorrect because this term is not standard. The native VLAN is a property of a trunk link, not a Layer 3 routing interface. 10. When configuring an 802.1q trunk link between two switches, one VLAN is designated to carry untagged traffic. If a frame arrives on a trunk port without a VLAN tag, the switch assumes it belongs to this specific VLAN. What is this special VLAN called on an 802.1q trunk? A. Voice VLAN. B. Management VLAN. C. Default VLAN, VLAN 1. D. Native VLAN. What do you think is the answer? Correct answer. D. Native VLAN. Explanation. Option D is correct because the native VLAN is the specific VLAN on an 802.1q trunk that carries untagged traffic. Any untagged frames received on a trunk port are placed into the native VLAN. Option A, Voice VLAN, is incorrect because it is a special VLAN used to prioritize and carry tagged voice traffic from IP phones. Option B, Management VLAN, is incorrect because it is the VLAN used for administrative access to network devices and is typically tagged on trunks. Option C, Default VLAN, VLAN 1, is incorrect because while VLAN 1 is often the default native VLAN, native VLAN is the specific functional term for the untagged VLAN, which can be changed to any VLAN ID. 11. A company is deploying VoIP phones. These phones often have a built-in mini-switch, allowing a PC to be connected through the phone to a single switch port. To prioritize voice traffic and keep it separate from data traffic, the network administrator wants to configure the switch port so that voice traffic from the phone is placed in one VLAN and data traffic from the connected PC is placed in another VLAN, all over the same physical port. Which feature allows this? A. Port security. B. Voice VLAN. C. Spanning tree protocol. STP. D. Native VLAN. What do you think is the answer? Correct answer. B. Voice VLAN. Explanation. Option B is correct because the voice VLAN feature is designed specifically for this scenario. It allows a switch port to carry traffic for a data VLAN for the PC and a voice VLAN for the IP phone simultaneously. The switch identifies and prioritizes the voice traffic, which is typically tagged. Option A, port security, is incorrect because it is used to restrict the MAC addresses that can connect to a port. Option C, spanning tree protocol, STP, is incorrect because it is a loop prevention protocol. Option D, native VLAN, is incorrect because it relates to untagged traffic on a trunk link, not the separation of voice and data traffic on an access-like port. 12. To increase the bandwidth and provide redundancy for the connection between two critical core switches, a network administrator decides to bundle 4 physical 10 Gbps Ethernet links together to act as a single logical 40 Gbps link. If one of the physical links fails, traffic will automatically be redistributed over the remaining active links. What is this technology called? A. Spanning tree protocol, STP. B. Virtual private network, VPN. C. Link aggregation, e.g., LACP or Ether channel. D. Sub-interface bundling. What do you think is the answer? Correct answer, C. Link aggregation, e.g., LACP or Ether channel. Explanation. Option C is correct because link aggregation is the technology that combines multiple physical network links into a single logical link. This increases the total available bandwidth and provides redundancy. LACP is a standard protocol for this, and Ether channel is Cisco's term. Option A, spanning tree protocol, STP, is incorrect because STP's function is to block redundant links to prevent loops, which is the opposite of link aggregation. Option B, virtual private network, VPN, is incorrect because VPNs are used to create secure tunnels over networks. Option D, sub-interface bundling, is not a standard industry term for this technology. 13. A network technician connects a new server to a switch port. The server's network card is capable of 1 Gbps, full duplex operation. However, users report slow performance when accessing the server. The technician checks the switch port status and sees it has negotiated to 100 Mbps, half duplex. What is the most likely cause of this mismatch and performance issue? A. The switch port is faulty and needs replacement. B. The server's network card is configured for auto-negotiation, but the switch port is manually set to 100 Mbps, half duplex. C. A jumbo frame configuration mismatch between the server and switch. D. Spanning tree protocol has blocked the port. Do you know the answer? Correct answer, B. The server's network card is configured for auto-negotiation, but the switch port is manually set to 100 Mbps, half duplex. Explanation. Option B is correct because a common cause of speed and duplex mismatches occurs when one side is set to auto-negotiate and the other is hard-coded. The auto-negotiating side fails to properly detect the settings and falls back to a basic, safe setting, which is often 100 Mbps and half duplex, leading to poor performance and collisions. Option A, the switch port is faulty and needs replacement, is incorrect because a configuration mismatch is a more probable and easier issue to check and fix first. Option C, a jumbo frame configuration mismatch between the server and switch, is incorrect because this would typically cause packet loss or connectivity failure for large packets, not a speed duplex negotiation failure. Option D, spanning tree protocol has blocked the port, is incorrect because an STP-blocked port would result in no connectivity at all, not slow performance. 14. In a complex switched network with multiple redundant paths between switches, which protocol is essential to prevent broadcast storms and MAC address table instability that can occur due to Layer 2 loops? This protocol works by logically blocking some redundant paths to create a single, loop-free tree topology. A. Virtual Router Redundancy Protocol, VRRP. B. Spanning Tree Protocol, STP. C. Open Shortest Path, first, OSPF. D. Link Aggregation Control Protocol, LACP. What do you think is the answer? Correct answer, B. Spanning Tree Protocol, STP. Explanation. Option B is correct because Spanning Tree Protocol, STP, is a Layer 2 protocol specifically designed to prevent switching loops in networks with redundant paths. It achieves this by creating a loop-free logical topology by blocking redundant links. Option A, Virtual Router Redundancy Protocol, VRRP, is incorrect because VRRP is a first-hop redundancy protocol used for default gateway availability. Option C, Open Shortest Path, first, OSPF, is incorrect because OSPF is a Layer 3 routing protocol for finding the best path for IP packets. Option D, Link Aggregation Control Protocol, LACP, is incorrect because LACP is used to negotiate the bundling of multiple physical links into a single logical one. 15. A company is migrating its storage network to use ISCSI over Ethernet. To improve performance by reducing the overhead of packet fragmentation, the network administrator wants to allow larger than standard Ethernet frames to be transmitted between the servers and the storage arrays. What setting needs to be consistently configured on all participating network interfaces, servers, switches, storage, to support these larger frames? A. Quality of service, QoS markings. B. Maximum transmission unit, MTU, for jumbo frames. C. 802.1q VLAN tagging. D. Port security with sticky MAC. Can you guess the answer? Correct answer, B. Maximum transmission unit, MTU, for jumbo frames. Explanation. Option B is correct because increasing the maximum transmission unit, MTU, enables the use of jumbo frames, which are Ethernet frames larger than the standard 1500 bytes. This reduces the number of frames needed for large data transfers, improving efficiency for applications like ISCSI. The MTU must be set consistently on all devices in the path. Option A, Quality of Service, QoS markings, is incorrect because QoS is used for prioritizing traffic, not changing the maximum frame size. Option C, 802.1q VLAN tagging, is incorrect because VLAN tagging adds a small tag to a frame, but does not define the overall maximum frame size. Option D, Port security with sticky MAC, is incorrect because this is a security feature to restrict which devices can connect to a port. 16. A user in an office reports that their Wi-Fi connection is very slow and unreliable, especially in the afternoon when many people are using their wireless devices. The office is in a dense urban area with many neighboring businesses. The network administrator suspects interference from other Wi-Fi networks. When configuring the office access points, which strategy for selecting 2.4 GHz channels would best help mitigate this co-channel interference? A. Using only channel 6 for all access points. B. Using channels 1, 6 and 11, assigning different ones to adjacent access points. C. Setting all access points to auto channel and letting them choose. D. Using channels 3, 7 and 10 for better separation. What do you think is the answer? Correct answer, B. Using channels 1, 6 and 11, assigning different ones to adjacent access points. Explanation. Option B is correct, because in the 2.4 GHz band, channels 1, 6 and 11 are the only 3 channels that do not overlap. Using a channel plan that assigns these non-overlapping channels to adjacent access points is the best practice for minimizing co-channel and adjacent channel interference. Option A, using only channel 6 for all access points, is incorrect because this would cause maximum co-channel interference among the office's own APs. Option C, setting all access points to auto channel and letting them choose, is incorrect because auto channel features often make poor choices in congested environments and may not coordinate well between APs, whereas a manual plan provides predictable results. Option D, using channels 3, 7 and 10 for better separation, is incorrect because these channels significantly overlap with each other, which would create adjacent channel interference. 17. A company is deploying a new Wi-Fi network and wants to take advantage of less congested frequency bands and wider channel widths for higher throughput. They are considering access points that support 802.1-11ac, Wi-Fi 5, or 802.11ax, Wi-Fi 6, which frequency band offers more non-overlapping channels and typically supports wider channel widths, e.g., 80 MHz or 160 MHz for these newer standards. A. 2.4 GHz, B. 900 MHz, C. 5 GHz, D. 60 GHz. Do you know the answer? Correct answer, C. 5 GHz. Explanation. Option C is correct because the 5 GHz band provides significantly more spectrum and many more non-overlapping channels than the 2.4 GHz band. This allows for the use of wider channel widths, like 80 MHz or 160 MHz, which are key features of 802.11ac and 802.11ax for achieving very high data rates. Option A, 2.4 GHz, is incorrect because it is very congested and only has 3 20 MHz non-overlapping channels. Option B, 900 MHz, is incorrect because it is not used for standard Wi-Fi protocols like 802.11ac AX. Option D, 60 GHz, is incorrect because while it offers very high throughput, it is used by different standards, 802 and 11 ADUA, and has an extremely short range, making it unsuitable for general Wi-Fi coverage. 18. A network administrator notices that many dual-band client devices, supporting both 2.4 GHz and 5 GHz, are connecting to the more congested 2.4 GHz band, even when they are close enough to an access point for a good 5 GHz connection. To encourage these clients to use the less crowded and often faster 5 GHz band, which AP features should be enabled or optimized? A. Disabling the SSID broadcast on the 2.4 GHz radio. B. Setting a stronger pre-shared key for the 2.4 GHz band. C. Band steering. D. Increasing the transmit power of the 2.4 GHz radio. Can you guess the answer? Correct answer. C. Band steering. Explanation. Option C is correct because band steering is a feature on dual-band access points designed to actively encourage capable clients to connect to the 5 GHz band. The AP can make the 5 GHz band appear more attractive, or temporarily delay responses on the 2.4 GHz band to prompt clients to switch. Option A. Disabling the SSID broadcast on the 2.4 GHz radio is incorrect because this makes the network harder to connect to, but doesn't actively steer clients that can see both bands. Option B. Setting a stronger pre-shared key for the 2.4 GHz band is incorrect because the key strength is irrelevant to which band a client chooses. Option D. Increasing the transmit power of the 2.4 GHz radio is incorrect because this would make the 2.4 GHz signal appear stronger to clients, making them less likely to choose the 5 GHz band. 19. When a wireless client device scans for available Wi-Fi networks, it sees a list of human-readable names, like OfficeNet, Guest Wi-Fi, or My Home Network. What is the technical term for these advertised network names? A. Basic Service Set Identifier, BSSID. B. Service Set Identifier, SSID. C. Independent Basic Service Set, IBSS. D. Extended Service Set Identifier, SSID. Do you know the answer? Correct answer, B. Service Set Identifier, SSID. Explanation. Option B is correct because the Service Set Identifier, SSID, is the technical term for the human-readable name of a wireless network. Access points broadcast this name so that users can easily identify and select the network they want to join. Option A, Basic Service Set Identifier, BSSID, is incorrect because the BSSID is the MAC address of the access points radio for a particular network. Option C, Independent Basic Service Set, IBSS, is incorrect because IBSS refers to the ad hoc mode of Wi-Fi, where devices connect directly without an access point. Option D, Extended Service Set Identifier, ESSID, is incorrect because while it technically refers to the name of a network with multiple APs, the common and universal term for the network name itself is SSID. 20. A company wants to implement the highest level of security for its corporate Wi-Fi network. They want each user to authenticate using unique credentials, e.g., the Active Directory username and password, rather than everyone sharing a single password. Which wireless authentication method should they implement? A. WPA2 PSK, pre-shared key. B. WEP, wired equivalent privacy. C. WPA3 enterprise, using 802.1x, EAP. D. MAC address filtering. Do you know the answer? Correct answer, C. WPA3 enterprise, using 802.1x, EAP. Explanation. Option C is correct because WPA3 Enterprise, or WPA2 Enterprise, utilizes the IEEE 802.1x standard, which requires each user to authenticate with individual credentials against a central authentication server, like Radius. This provides strong security, accountability, and centralized access control. Option A, WPA2 PSK, pre-shared key, is incorrect because it uses a single password shared among all users, which is less secure and difficult to manage. Option B, WEP, wired equivalent privacy, is incorrect because it is an outdated and completely broken security protocol that should never be used. Option D, a MAC address filtering, is incorrect because it is a weak security measure, as MAC addresses can be easily spoofed, imitated. 21. An outdoor cafe wants to provide Wi-Fi coverage to its entire patio area. The access point will be mounted on an exterior wall of the building. To direct the Wi-Fi signal outwards towards the seating area and minimize signal leakage backwards into the building or towards neighboring properties, What type of antenna would be most suitable for the access point? A. Omnidirectional antenna. B. Directional antenna, e.g. panel or Yagi. C. Isotropic antenna. D. Rubber ducky antenna from an old router. What do you think is the answer? Correct. Answer B. Directional antenna, e.g. panel or Yagi. Explanation. Option B is correct because a directional antenna, like a panel antenna, focuses the radio frequency signal in a specific direction. This is ideal for concentrating the Wi-Fi signal over the patio area while minimizing signal bleed into unwanted areas, thus improving performance and reducing interference. Option A, omnidirectional antenna, is incorrect because it radiates the signal in all horizontal directions, which would waste signal strength inside the building and towards neighbors. Option C, isotropic antenna, is incorrect because it is a theoretical, ideal antenna that radiates perfectly in all directions and does not exist in practice. It is used as a reference for antenna gain measurements. Option D, rubber ducky antenna from an old router, is incorrect because this describes a physical form factor, which is typically an omnidirectional antenna and therefore not suitable for this scenario. 22. A large university campus has hundreds of access points managed by a central device that handles configuration, firmware updates, and client authentication policies. The individual access points themselves have minimal intelligence and rely on this central device for their operation. What type of access point architecture is this? A. Autonomous AP, Fat AP architecture. B. Lightweight AP, Thin AP, with a wireless LAN controller, WLC. C. Ad hoc mesh network. D. Wi-Fi direct deployment. Do you know the answer? Correct answer. B. Lightweight AP, Thin AP, with a wireless LAN controller, WLC. Explanation. Option B is correct because this describes a controller-based architecture where lightweight access points, thin APs, are managed by a central wireless LAN controller, WLC. The WLC provides centralized management, configuration, and control, which is highly efficient for large-scale deployments. Option A, autonomous AP, Fat AP, architecture, is incorrect because, in this model, each access point is configured and managed individually and operates independently. Option C, ad hoc mesh network, is incorrect because it describes a network where nodes connect directly to each other, typically without a central controller in this manner. Option D, Wi-Fi direct deployment, is incorrect because it is a standard for peer-to-peer connections between devices, not a large-scale infrastructure deployment. 23. A hotel wants to provide internet access to its guests. When a guest connects to the hotel guest Wi-Fi network, they are first redirected to a web page where they must enter their room number and agree to terms of service before gaining full internet access. What is this web page authentication mechanism called? A. WPA2 Enterprise. B. MAC address filtering. C. Pre-shared key. PSK. D. Captive portal. Do you know the answer? Correct answer. D. Captive portal. Explanation. Option D is correct because a captive portal is a web page that intercepts a user's connection and requires them to perform an action, like logging in, accepting terms or making a payment, before they are granted access to the network. This is a very common method for public Wi-Fi access. Option A, WPA2 Enterprise, is incorrect because it is an 802.1x based authentication method that uses credentials at the connection stage, not via a web page after connecting. Option B, MAC address filtering, is incorrect because it restricts access based on a device's hardware address, which is not visible to the user. Option C, pre-shared key, PSK, is incorrect because it involves entering a password to join the Wi-Fi network itself, which may happen before the captive portal page is displayed. 24. In a large office building, network closets are distributed on each floor to connect user workstations to the network. These closets contain patch panels and switches that aggregate connections from the floor and then typically uplink to a central equipment room. What is the common industry term for these distributed network closets? A. Main distribution frame, MDF. B. Server room. C. Intermediate distribution frame, IDF. D. Data center. What do you think is the answer? Correct answer, C. Intermediate distribution frame, IDF. Explanation. Option C is correct because an intermediate distribution frame, IDF, is a wiring closet that serves as a distribution point for a floor or a section of a building. It connects the horizontal cabling from user workstations to the building's backbone cabling, which runs to the main distribution frame, MDF. Option A, main distribution frame, MDF, is incorrect because the MDF is the central, primary distribution point for the entire building, where external services and the core network reside. Option B, server room, is incorrect because this room primarily houses servers, although it may be co-located with an MDF or IDF. Option D, data center, is incorrect because it refers to a much larger, specialized facility for housing a significant amount of IT equipment. 25. A network technician is installing new switches and servers in a standard 19-inch equipment rack. When selecting the equipment, they need to consider how much vertical space each device will occupy in the rack. What unit of measurement is used to define the height of rack-mountable equipment? A. Centimeter, cm, B. Inch, C. Rack unit, U or RU, D. Foot, FT. What do you think is the answer? Correct answer, C. Rack unit, U or RU. Explanation. Option C is correct because a rack unit, U or RU, is the standard unit of measure for the height of rack-mounted equipment. One rack unit is equal to 1.75 inches, 44.45 millimeters. A device's height is specified as 1U, 2U, etc. Option A, centimeter, cm, is incorrect because it is a standard metric unit of length, not the specific unit for rack equipment height. Option B, inch, is incorrect because while a rack unit is defined in inches, U is the specific standardized unit used in the industry. Option D, foot, FT, is incorrect because it is a standard imperial unit of length, not the specific unit for rack equipment height. 26. When planning the layout of equipment in a data center rack, it's crucial to ensure proper cooling. Many modern network switches and servers are designed with a specific airflow direction. For example, drawing cool air in from the front and exhausting hot air out the back. What is the common term for this type of airflow design that aligns with typical data center hot aisle, cold aisle layouts? A. Vertical airflow. B. Front to back or port side exhaust intake. Airflow. C. Top to bottom airflow. D. Passive convection cooling. Can you guess the answer? Correct answer. B. Front to back or port side exhaust intake. Airflow. Explanation. Option B is correct because front to back airflow is the standard design for data center equipment to support a hot aisle, cold aisle configuration. Cool air is drawn from the cold aisle at the front of the rack, and hot air is exhausted into the hot aisle at the rear, creating an efficient cooling cycle. Option A, vertical airflow, is incorrect because this describes air moving up or down, which is not the typical design for rack-mounted servers and switches. Option C, top-to-bottom airflow, is incorrect because it is another form of vertical airflow, not commonly used in standard rack equipment. Option D, passive convection cooling, is incorrect because this method relies on natural air circulation without fans and is insufficient for cooling high-density data center equipment. 27. A network technician is terminating dozens of twisted pair Ethernet cables coming from wall outlets in an office into a network closet. To provide a neat, organized, and manageable point for these permanent cable runs to connect to switches via shorter patch cords, what piece of passive hardware should the technician terminate these cables into? A. A network switch. B. A router. C. A patch panel. D. A fiber distribution panel. Do you know the answer? Correct. Answer. C. A patch panel. Explanation. Option C is correct because a patch panel is a passive hardware component used to terminate and organize runs of structured cabling. It provides a fixed point where permanent building wiring is punched down, and short patch cords are then used to connect these points to active equipment like switches, making management and changes easy. Option A network switch, is incorrect because it is an active device. Terminating permanent wiring directly into a switch is bad practice, as it is less flexible and can cause wear on the switch ports. Option B, a router, is incorrect because a router is a Layer 3 device used to connect different networks. Option D, a fiber distribution panel, is incorrect because it serves the same function as a patch panel, but is specifically designed for terminating fiber optic cables, not twisted pair Ethernet. 28. To ensure network equipment in a critical communications closet remains operational during short power outages, the network administrator needs to install a device that provides temporary battery backup power. This device should also offer some level of surge protection. What is this device called? A. Power distribution unit, PDU. B. Uninterruptible power supply, UPS. C. Step-down transformer. D. Automatic transfer switch, ATS. Can you guess the answer? Correct answer, B. Uninterruptible power supply, UPS. Explanation. Option B is correct because an uninterruptible power supply, UPS, contains a battery to provide temporary power to connected equipment during a power outage. This allows for graceful shutdowns or time for a generator to start. Most UPS devices also provide surge protection and power conditioning. Option A, Power Distribution Unit, PDU, is incorrect because a PDU is essentially a power strip that distributes power from a source, like a UPS, to multiple devices, but does not provide battery backup itself. Option C, Step-down transformer, is incorrect because it is used to change voltage levels, not provide backup power. Option D, Automatic transfer switch, ATS, is incorrect because it switches between two power sources, e.g., utility and generator, but does not have its own battery backup. 29. When deploying servers and network switches in a rack, the total power consumption of all devices must be considered to avoid overloading the electrical circuit and the UPS or PDU supplying power to that rack. What is the term for the total amount of electrical power being consumed by the equipment in the rack? A. Voltage rating. B. Amperage capacity. C. Power load. D. Circuit impedance. What do you think is the answer? Correct answer, C. Power load. Explanation. Option C is correct because the power load is the total amount of electrical power, measured in watts or volt amps, VA, drawn by all the equipment connected to a power source. It is critical that the total power load does not exceed the capacity of the circuit, PDU, or UPS? Option A, voltage rating, is incorrect because it refers to the required operating voltage, e.g., 120 V of the equipment, not the amount of power consumed. Option B, amperage capacity, is incorrect because it refers to the maximum current, amps, a circuit can handle, which is related to but distinct from the power load in watts. Option D, circuit impedance, is incorrect because it is a measure of the opposition to current flow in an AC circuit. 30. A company is setting up a small server room. They are concerned about the risk of fire and want to install an appropriate fire suppression system that will extinguish a fire quickly without damaging the sensitive electronic equipment or leaving a residue. Which type of fire suppression system would be most suitable for this environment? A, water sprinkler system. B, dry chemical powder system. C, clean agent gas system, e.g., FM200, Novec 1230. D, carbon dioxide, CO2, flooding system. What do you think is the answer? Correct answer, C, clean agent gas system, e.g., FM200, Novec 1230. Explanation. Option C is correct because clean agent gas systems are designed to suppress fires by removing heat or oxygen without leaving any residue. They are non-conductive and safe for electronics, making them the ideal choice for protecting server rooms and data centers. Option A, water sprinkler system, is incorrect because water will cause catastrophic damage to electronic equipment. Option B, dry chemical powder system, is incorrect because the powder is corrosive and will permanently damage electronic components. Option D, carbon dioxide, CO2 flooding system, is incorrect because while it is effective and leaves no residue, it extinguishes fire by displacing oxygen to levels that are lethal to humans, posing a significant life safety risk in occupied or potentially occupied spaces. Struggling with your IT certification exams? We've all been there. Welcome to MyITCerts.com, your ultimate resource for IT exam success. Find over 15,000 plus questions and answers. Join our thriving community of over 10,000 plus active students and the impressive 100% success rate with our premium exam support. Visit MyITCerts.com today and take first step towards guaranteed success. 31. A router uses a value called a metric to determine the best path to a destination network when a routing protocol learns multiple paths. If OSPF is the routing protocol, what is its metric primarily based on? A, hop count. B, bandwidth, cost. C, delay and reliability. D, administrative distance. What do you think is the answer? Correct answer, B, bandwidth, cost. Explanation. Option B is correct because OSPF, open shortest path first, uses a metric called cost, which is inversely proportional to the bandwidth of the link. A higher bandwidth link has a lower cost, and OSPF seeks the path with the lowest total cost. Option A, hop count, is incorrect because this is the metric used by the RIP, Routing Information Protocol. Option C, delay and reliability, is incorrect because these are components used by EIGRP to calculate its composite metric. Option D, administrative distance, is incorrect because it is used by a router to select which routing protocol to trust when multiple protocols provide a route to the same destination. It is not a metric within OSPF. 32. A company has a central office and several branch offices. The branch offices only need to send traffic to the central office or the Internet via the central office. The network administrator at each branch configures a single route that directs all traffic for unknown destinations to a router at the central office. What is this type of manually configured, all-encompassing route called? A, a host route, B, a default route, C, a network route, D, an aggregate route. Can you guess the answer? Correct answer, D, a default route. Explanation. Option B is correct because a default route, represented as 0.0.0.00 in IPv4, acts as a gateway of last resort. It tells the router where to send any packet that does not match a more specific route in the routing table, which is perfect for a simple branch office, pointing all external traffic to a central location. Option A host route, is incorrect because it is a highly specific route to a single IP address with a 32 mask. Option C, a network route, is incorrect because it is a route to a specific subnet, not an all-encompassing route. Option D, an aggregate route, is incorrect because it is a summary route that represents multiple more specific networks, but a default route is the ultimate summary. 33. A network administrator wants to ensure that only a specific computer, identified by its hardware address, can connect to a particular switch port in a secure area. If any other device is plugged into that port, the port should shut down. Which switch port security feature should be configured? A. 802.1x authentication. B. Dynamic ARP inspection, DAI. C. Port security with a shutdown violation mode and a single MAC address limit. D. DHCP snooping. What do you think is the answer? Correct answer, C. Port security with a shutdown violation mode and a single MAC address limit. Explanation. Option C is correct because port security is a switch feature that allows an administrator to restrict a port's connectivity to a specific MAC address, or a set number of them. Configuring the violation mode to shutdown will disable the port if an unauthorized device connects, meeting all the requirements of the scenario. Option A, 802.1x authentication, is incorrect because it provides more complex user or device-based authentication, usually involving a radius server, and is not a simple MAC-based restriction. Option B, Dynamic ARP inspection, DAI, is incorrect because DAI is a security feature used to prevent ARP spoofing attacks. Option D, DHCP snooping, is incorrect because DHCP snooping is used to prevent rogue DHCP servers on the network. 34. A network is experiencing intermittent connectivity issues and broadcast storms. Upon investigation, the administrator suspects a Layer 2 loop has formed due to a misconfiguration or faulty cabling. After fixing the physical cause, which action would be the most appropriate first step on the switches to help the network recover and ensure loop prevention is active? A. Disable all switch ports and re-enable them one by one. B. Reboot all affected switches. C. Verify spanning. Tree protocol, STP, is enabled and What do you think is the answer? Functioning correctly on all switches. D. Clear the MAC address tables on all switches. Correct answer, C. Verify spanning tree protocol. STP is enabled and functioning correctly on all switches. Explanation. Option C is correct because spanning tree protocol, STP, is the fundamental mechanism for preventing Layer 2 loops. Ensuring it is enabled and correctly configured on all switches is the most important step to prevent the loop from reoccurring and to stabilize the network. Option A, disable all switch ports and re-enable them one by one, is incorrect because it is a disruptive troubleshooting method that does not address the underlying need for an active loop prevention protocol. Option B, reboot all affected switches, is incorrect because, while a reboot might temporarily resolve the symptoms, the loop will reform if the STP configuration is still incorrect. Option D, clear the MAC address tables on all switches, is incorrect because this only clears the symptom of MAC table instability caused by the loop. It does not prevent the loop itself. 35. A small startup office uses a single wireless router for their Wi-Fi. All employees connect to the Wi-Fi using a shared password. This is an example of which wireless authentication mode? A. WPA3 Enterprise. B. Open Authentication. C. WPA2 PSK, Pre-Shared Key. D. Captive Portal. Can you guess the answer? Correct answer, C. WPA2 PSK, Pre-Shared Key. Explanation. Option C is correct because WPA2 PSK, Pre-Shared Key, also known as WPA2 Personal, is a security mode where all users on the network use the same password, the key, to gain access. This is very common for home and small office environments. Option A, WPA3 Enterprise, is incorrect because this is a more advanced mode that uses individual user credentials and a central authentication server. Option B, Open Authentication, is incorrect because this mode requires no password to connect to the Wi-Fi network. Option D, Captive Portal, is incorrect because this is a secondary, web-based authentication method that appears after connecting to the network, not the primary authentication mode itself. 36. A company is planning to deploy Wi-Fi 6E access points to take advantage of the newly available, less congested spectrum. Which frequency band is specifically utilized by Wi-Fi 6E devices that is not available to older Wi-Fi 6 802.11ax devices? A. 2.4 GHz. B. 5 GHz. C. 6 GHz. D. 900 MHz. What do you think is the answer? Correct. Answer C. 6 GHz. Explanation. Option C is correct because Wi-Fi 6E is an extension of the Wi-Fi 6 standard that adds support for the 6 GHz frequency band. This provides a large amount of new clean spectrum which is unavailable to standard Wi-Fi 6 and older devices. Option A, 2.4 GHz, is incorrect because this band is used by Wi-Fi 6 and many previous Wi-Fi standards. Option B, 5 GHz, is incorrect because this band is also used by Wi-Fi 6 and many previous Wi-Fi standards. Option D, 900 MHz, is incorrect because this band is not used for standard Wi-Fi. 37. A technician is installing a new rack in a server room. The rack is specified as a 42U rack. What does the 42U refer to? A. The width of the rack in inches. B. The depth of the rack in centimeters. C. The total weight capacity of the rack in kilograms. D. The usable vertical mounting space within the rack, measured in rack units. Do you know the answer? Correct answer. D. The usable vertical mounting space within the rack, measured in rack units. Explanation. Option D is correct because 42U signifies that the rack has 42 rack units of usable vertical space. A rack unit, U, is a standard measure of height for rack-mounted equipment, equal to 1.75 inches. This specification tells an administrator how much equipment can be vertically stacked in the rack. Option A, the width of the rack in inches, is incorrect because the width is typically a standard 19 inches, but is not what U measures. Option B, the depth of the rack in centimeters, is incorrect because depth is another important but separate measurement. Option C, the total weight capacity of the rack in kilograms, is incorrect because weight capacity is a critical spec but is not measured in U. 38. A data center manager is concerned about maintaining optimal operating conditions for the IT equipment. Besides temperature, which other environmental factor is critical to monitor and control in a data center to prevent issues like electrostatic discharge, if too low, or condensation, corrosion, if too high? A. Ambient light levels. B. Barometric pressure. C. Humidity. D. Acoustic noise levels. Do you know the answer? Correct. Answer. C. Humidity. Explanation. Option C is correct because relative humidity is a critical environmental factor. If humidity is too low, the risk of electrostatic discharge, ESD, increases, which can damage sensitive electronics. If humidity is too high, it can lead to condensation and corrosion of components. Option A, ambient light levels, is incorrect because this is a concern for human comfort and safety, not the direct operational health of the equipment. Option B, barometric pressure, is incorrect because it has a negligible impact on equipment operation except at extreme altitudes. Option D, acoustic noise levels, is incorrect because this is primarily an occupational health and safety concern for personnel, not a direct threat to the equipment's function. 39. A network uses EIGRP. The EIGRP metric is a composite value calculated from several factors. Which of the following is the most significant and default component used by EIGRP to determine the best path? A. Hop count and MTU. B. Bandwidth and delay. C. Route preference and prefix length. D. Jitter and packet loss. Can you guess the answer? Correct. Answer. B. Bandwidth and delay. Explanation. Option B is correct because, by default, EIGRP calculates its composite metric using only the minimum bandwidth and the cumulative delay along a path. These two values are the primary factors in its path selection process. Option A, hop count and MTU, is incorrect because hop count is used by RIP, and MTU is not a default component of the EIGRP metric calculation. Option C, route preference and prefix length, is incorrect because these are general routing principles, not the specific components used to calculate the EIGRP metric itself. Option D, jitter and packet loss, is incorrect because these are measures of link quality but are not used in the standard EIGRP metric formula. 40. A network engineer needs to access the CLI of a switch. They consider two methods: connecting a serial cable from their laptop to the switch's console port, using SSH to connect to the switch's management IP address over the network. What are these two methods examples of, respectively? A. In-band and in-band management. B. Out-of-band and in-band management. C. In-band and out-of-band management. D. Out-of-band and out-of-band management. What do you think is the answer? Correct answer, B. Out-of-band and in-band management. Explanation. Option B is correct because connecting via the console port is a form of out-of-band management, as it uses a dedicated channel separate from the main data network. Connecting via SSH over the network is a form of in-band management because it uses the production data network to establish the connection. Option A, in-band and in-band management, is incorrect because the console connection is out-of-band. Option C, in-band and out-of-band management, is incorrect because it reverses the two methods. Option D, out-of-band and out-of-band management, is incorrect because the SSH connection is in-band. 41. A switch port is configured as an access port in VLAN 20. A user connects a PC to this port. How will Ethernet frames sent from this PC be handled by the switch as they enter this port? A. The switch will add an 802.1Q tag for VLAN 20 to the frames. B. The switch will expect the PC to send frames already tagged for VLAN 20. C. The switch will internally associate the untagged frames with VLAN 20. D. The switch will drop the frames as they are untagged. Can you guess the answer? Correct answer, C. The switch will internally associate the untagged frames with VLAN 20. Explanation. Option C is correct because an access port is designed to accept untagged frames from an end device like a PC. When the switch receives an untagged frame on a port assigned to a VLAN, in this case VLAN 20, it internally associates that frame with VLAN 20 for processing and forwarding. Option A. The switch will add an 802.1Q tag for VLAN 20 to the frames, is incorrect because the tag is only added when the frame needs to be sent out a trunk port to another VLAN-aware device. Option B. The switch will expect the PC to send frames already tagged for VLAN 20, is incorrect because standard end-user devices do not send tagged frames. This is the responsibility of the switch. Option D, the switch will drop the frames as they are untagged, is incorrect because the purpose of an access port is specifically to accept untagged frames and assign them to a VLAN. 42. A company wants to ensure that frames transmitted between its core switches are as large as possible to optimize data transfers for its storage network, reducing per packet overhead. If the standard Ethernet MTU is 1500 bytes, what are these larger frames commonly called? A. Baby giant frames. B. Fragmented frames. C. Jumbo frames. D. Runt frames. What do you think is the answer? Correct answer, C. Jumbo frames. Explanation. Option C is correct because jumbo frames are Ethernet frames that exceed the standard 1500-byte MTU, typically configured to around 9000 bytes. They are used to improve network throughput by reducing the number of frames and the processing overhead for large data transfers. Option A, baby giant frames, is incorrect because this term, while sometimes used for frames just slightly over 1500 bytes, is not the standard term for the significantly larger frames used for optimization. Option B, fragmented frames, is incorrect because fragmentation refers to the process of splitting larger packets into smaller ones, which is what jumbo frames help to avoid. Option D, runt frames, is incorrect because runts are frames that are smaller than the Ethernet minimum of 64 bytes and are considered errors. 43. You are setting up a simple Wi-Fi network for your home. You have a wireless router and several devices, laptops, phones. The wireless router acts as a central point, and all your devices connect to it to access the network and internet. What is this common wireless network mode called? A. Ad hoc mode, IBSS. B. Infrastructure mode, BSS, ESS. C. Wi-Fi direct. D. Wireless mesh. What do you think is the answer? Correct answer. B. Infrastructure mode, BSS, ESS. Explanation. Option B is correct because infrastructure mode is the standard Wi-Fi configuration where wireless clients connect to a central access point, AP. A single AP forms a basic service set, BSS, and multiple APs with the same SSID form an extended service set, ESS. Option A, ad hoc mode, IBSS, is incorrect because this mode involves devices connecting directly to each other in a peer-to-peer fashion without a central AP. Option C, Wi-Fi direct, is incorrect because it is a standard for simplified peer-to-peer connections, not for connecting to a central router for internet access. Option D, wireless mesh, is incorrect because while it uses infrastructure, it specifically refers to a system where multiple APs connect to each other to extend the network, which is a more complex setup than the basic one described. 44. A new wireless security standard offers improvements over WPA2, including individualized data encryption in personal mode, using simultaneous authentication of equals, SAE, and stronger encryption for enterprise networks. It also mandates protected management frames, PMF. What is this newer, more secure Wi-Fi security protocol? A. WEP, B. WPA, C. WPA3, D. EAP TLS. Do you know the answer? Correct answer, C. WPA3. Explanation. Option C is correct because WPA3, Wi-Fi Protected Access, 3, is the latest security standard that includes significant improvements over WPA2. These include SAE for stronger password protection in personal mode, and mandatory protected management frames, PMF, to secure wireless management traffic. Option A, WEP, is incorrect because it is a very old and insecure protocol. Option B, WPA, is incorrect because it is the predecessor to WPA2 and is also considered insecure by modern standards. Option D, EAP TLS, is incorrect because it is a specific authentication method used within the WPA's enterprise framework, not the overall security protocol itself. 45. A technician is installing a network switch in a wall-mounted rack in a small office closet that does not have active cooling. The switch manufacturer's documentation specifies a maximum operating temperature. Exceeding this temperature could lead to performance issues or hardware failure. What environmental factor is most critical to monitor or manage in this closet? A. Power fluctuations. B. Ambient temperature. C. Radio frequency interference. D. Cable bend radius. What do you think is the answer? Correct answer, B. Ambient temperature. Explanation. Option B is correct because the ambient temperature is the most critical factor in this scenario. Network devices generate heat, and in a confined space without cooling, this heat can build up and exceed the device's maximum operating temperature, leading to instability or permanent damage. Option A, power fluctuations, is incorrect because while important, the scenario specifically points to the risk of overheating. Option C, radio frequency interference, is incorrect because RFI affects wireless communication, not the operating temperature of a wired switch. Option D, cable bend radius, is incorrect because this is important for the health of the cables, not the thermal condition of the switch. 46. In a structured cabling system, the primary point where telecommunications services, like ISP lines, enter a building and connect to the building's backbone cabling is typically located in a specialized room or area. This area often houses core network equipment. What is this central connection point called? A. Horizontal cross-connect, HCC. B. Work area outlet, WAO. C. Intermediate distribution frame, IDF. D. Main distribution frame, MDF. Can you guess the answer? Correct answer, D. Main distribution frame, MDF. Explanation. Option D is correct because the main distribution frame, MDF, is the primary hub for a building's structured cabling. It is where external service lines terminate and connect to the internal backbone, and it typically houses the main network and telecommunications equipment. Option A, horizontal cross-connect, HCC, is incorrect because this refers to the connection point between backbone and horizontal cabling, which is usually located in an IDF. Option B, work area outlet, WAO, is incorrect because this is the wall jack where an end-user device plugs in. Option C, intermediate distribution frame, IDF, is incorrect because an IDF is a secondary distribution point, usually on a floor, that connects local horizontal cabling to the MDF via backbone cabling. 47. A company is installing a new server rack and needs to provide redundant power sources to critical servers that have dual power supplies. They install two separate UPS systems. What device can be used within the rack to distribute power from these UPS systems to the server power supplies, ideally allowing for monitoring of power consumption per outlet? A. A surge protector. B. Two basic power strips. C. Two intelligent power distribution units, PDUs, one connected to each UPS. D. An automatic voltage regulator, AVR. Can you guess the answer? Correct answer, C. Two intelligent power distribution units, PDUs, one connected to each UPS. Explanation. Option C is correct because this setup provides true power redundancy. Each of the server's dual power supplies connects to a separate PDU, with each PDU powered by a different UPS. Intelligent PDUs add the benefit of remote monitoring and control of the power to each outlet. Option A surge protector, is incorrect because it only provides protection from power spikes and does not offer redundant power distribution. Option B, two basic power strips, is incorrect because while they distribute power, they lack the monitoring and management features of intelligent PDUs. Option D, an automatic voltage regulator, AVR, is incorrect because it is designed to stabilize voltage, not to distribute power from redundant sources in this manner. 48. A network technician is inspecting a fiber optic patch panel in a data center. They notice some connectors are blue and some are green. The green connectors typically signify what type of fiber optic ferrule polish, which is important for minimizing back reflections in high-speed single-mode systems. A. PC, physical contact. B. UPC, ultra-physical contact. C. APC, angled physical contact. D. MTP, multi-fiber termination push-on. What do you think is the answer? Correct answer, C. APC, angled physical contact. Explanation. Option C is correct because green connectors signify an angled physical contact APC polish. The fiber end face is polished at an 8-degree angle, which causes reflected light to exit the fiber instead of traveling back to the source. This greatly reduces back reflection, return loss, and is critical for reflection-sensitive applications. Option A, PC, physical contact, is incorrect because it is an older, flat polish type that has higher back reflection than APC. Option B, UPC, ultra-physical contact, is incorrect because while it is a better polish than PC, it is still a flat polish with more back reflection than APC. UPC connectors are typically blue. Option D, MTP, multi-fiber termination push-on, is incorrect because MTP is a type of high-density connector, not a type of polish. An MTP connector can itself have an APC or UPC polish. 49. To prevent unauthorized physical access to network equipment in a shared data center cage, which of the following is a simple but effective security measure that should be implemented on the rack doors? A. Labeling all equipment clearly. B. Using zip ties to secure cables. C. Installing lockable rack doors and ensuring they are kept locked. D. Placing a "Do Not Touch" sign on the rack. What do you think is the answer? Correct answer, C. Installing lockable rack doors and ensuring they are kept locked. Explanation. Option C is correct because installing and using locks on rack doors is a fundamental physical security control. It creates a physical barrier that prevents unauthorized personnel from tampering with, unplugging or removing critical network equipment. Option A, labeling all equipment clearly, is incorrect because labeling is for organization and management, not for preventing unauthorized access. Option B, using zip ties to secure cables, is incorrect because this is for cable management and does not secure the rack itself from being opened. Option D, placing a Do Not Touch sign on the rack, is incorrect because a sign is only a deterrent and provides no physical barrier to prevent access. 50. A network switch datasheet lists its operating voltage as 100, 240V AC, 50, 60 Hz. What does this specification primarily tell you about the switch's power requirements? A. The switch consumes between 100 and 240 watts of power. B. The switch can operate with an input AC voltage ranging from 100 volts to 240 volts and a frequency of 50 or 60 Hz. C. The switch requires a dedicated 240V circuit for optimal performance. D. The switch has an internal battery that provides 50 to 60 minutes of backup. What do you think is the answer? Correct. Answer. B. The switch can operate with an input AC voltage ranging from 100 volts to 240 volts and a frequency of 50 or 60 Hz. Explanation. Option B is correct because this specification describes a universal or auto-ranging power supply. It means the device can be safely connected to power systems in different parts of the world, whether they provide voltage around 110, 120 bar like in North America, like in Europe, at either 50 Hz or 60 Hz. Option A, the switch consumes between 100 and 240 watts of power, is incorrect because this specification refers to the input voltage, V, not the power consumption, watts. Option C, the switch requires a dedicated 240V circuit for optimal performance, is incorrect because the range indicates it works equally well on any voltage within that range, including 120V. Option D, the switch has an internal battery that provides 50 to 60 minutes of backup, is incorrect because the 50-60 Hz refers to the frequency of the AC power, not a battery backup time in minutes. You have reached the end of our question set. For the complete exam preparation experience, visit us at MyITCerts.com, where you find thousands more practice questions and comprehensive study guides. You can study completely free using our study materials and questions and ace your exams with confidence. Thank you for studying with us today. See you in the next video.